Hey everybody. Um, Today is October 28th, 2025. And if you're keeping track of the numbers, the scale said 234.2. I am continuing to do my regular weigh-ins, but as I shared in my last videos, I now realize clearly that just because the number on the scale is going down, it's not always a good thing. Like if you've been sick or you're losing muscle. So I'm going to still continue with the weigh-ins as data points, but I am also focusing on other healthy habits that I'm trying to build, and so I'm tracking. And I wanted to just quickly check in with what those are and how I'm doing. And the first one is to use my planner every single day. My planner is not just a schedule for appointments. It's like my planner. It's where I plan out like what my goals are, what I'm trying to track, whether I'm able to, achieve those goals each day, track my progress with those goals, as well as put some different to-dos on the list for each day that I can things off of my to-do list, which I have a master to-do list on my phone, but I put some things for each day in my planner so I can try to tackle that to-do list, that never-ending massive to-do list. And I find that if I can check that planner regularly, like daily or at least every couple of days, I feel like I stay on track with everything much better. So habit number one that I'm trying to track is using my planner. How have I been doing this past month with that goal? I've done fair. I would rate myself as fair. I haven't been great in the first part of the month, but this tail end of the month, I've really stepped it up on all my goals. So I've been doing better with all my goals, like say in the last couple weeks. But the first couple weeks, like I set up my planner and then I just didn't pick it up again. So there's an example. If I use it, it works, but I have to use it in order for it to work. So that's goal number one. Goal number two is that I want to read every day. I have a massive collection of books. Okay, maybe it's not massive compared to some people, but it's more than my bookshelves can handle. And I have a mess of extra boxes piled with books. And anyway, that's a whole other subject. Trying to get my life in order, but I have too many books, and I'm not a great reader. I don't read fast. It's not my go-to to just grab a book and read. It's a habit that I'm trying to build because I really would like to read some, if not all of those books eventually. And I really need to get busy because at this point, even if I were to read a whole book every single month, it would take me decades to get through the books on my shelf. So I should probably do the math on that. That would probably be mind blowing. So I'm trying to develop the habit of reading every day. And the subjects that I typically read is I have the whole idea of like reading for leisure versus reading for like self education. And I tend to read for self education more, like I'm more of a nonfiction girl than I do for fiction. Although I have read for fiction and I have found it enjoyable if I, happen to find a book I like. But again, I'm not in the big habit of reading, so that's a habit I'm trying to build. And so, how have I been doing that with that goal for this month? Same as the others. Pretty much all my goals. You can pretty much assume that for this past month of October, I did not do great for the first couple of weeks of the month, and I've done a lot better for these last couple of weeks of the month. My third goal is to walk every single day. Well, correction. My goal is to meet a step goal of 9,000 steps every single day, which usually involves a walk, which is what I'm out here doing. So, generally speaking, if I manage to get a walk in in any given day, I usually hit my step goal. But if I don't get a walk in, I don't always meet my step goal. But my step goal is 9,000 steps a day. And I'm going to continue working towards that goal. And then my next goal is to sleep for a minimum of 7 hours a night. And in these last couple of weeks, I have definitely stepped it up and been getting better sleep. Not every single night. I didn't meet my goal last night. But all of the nights that I do meet my goal, which has been maybe a handful of times this month, it's like it's noticeable. Just the way I feel is just noticeably better if I've met my sleep goal. So I am going to continue with that goal as well. And then the last goal is to avoid added or processed sugar. So this would be things like cakes, cookies, candy, desserts, ice cream, soft drinks, things like that. And for the most part, I don't buy those things usually, like when I'm doing my regular grocery shopping. So I'm really pretty good compared to probably most American people, but I'm not good at avoiding it altogether. I've had periods of time where I've been better about it, and then I've had periods of time like now where I've slipped back into the habit. And it really does feel like a habit because the more I eat sugar, the more I want sugar. And the less I eat sugar, the less I crave it. So I think that's a combination of a habit and what feels like, some addictive qualities to the way I react to sugar. So if I'm not buying cookies, cakes, soft drinks, things like that, then how am I getting added sugar? It's usually just a random assortment of ways. I'll give you an example. Day before yesterday was the first day of the entire month of October that I remember that I didn't eat added sugar. I didn't eat any processed sugar. Didn't add sugar to anything. So I gave myself a star for that, because in my planner I gave myself stars for each day that I meet my goal. I'm a gold star girl. What can I tell you? But then yesterday, although I had planned to do a second day in a row, like let's get the momentum building, right? Finally, here at the end of the month, I was planning on not eating any sugar yesterday, but I was about to pay my bills. I had been putting them off. I had been dreading them. And I was finally getting down to tackling to pay my bills. And I was digging through my purse for my wallet, for my cards. And I found this old Dum Dum lollipop. And I remember when I got that lollipop, it was back in August when I had been to one of my doctors that I get shots of my biologic medication. And they give you a lollipop. And I'd stuck it in my purse because I was trying to be good that day. My shot was in the morning, and I wasn't going to just eat a lollipop first thing in the morning because of how I fast. I tend to not eat before noon, and I tend to not eat after 7 p.m. And so when I was given that lollipop, it was like first thing in the morning. So I just stuck it in my purse, figured I would have it later, and then forgot about it. So yesterday when I was digging in my purse to get my cards out, I found the lollipop, and I thought about it for a second, and I was like, this thing's been in my purse who knows how long, and I should just throw it out. But part of me felt like I deserved a reward for tackling my bills. And it was watermelon, my favorite flavor. And it was tiny, like, how terrible could that be to have a tiny little Dum Dum lollipop? So I ate it while I did my bills. And then I realized later, I don't get my gold star. Like, I kind of want my gold star better than I wanted the lollipop, but too late, I ate it. So I did not get my star for yesterday. And then today, I know I will not get my gold star because I have a plan to eat some sugar today. I didn't have a plan to eat some sugar today until my daughter-in-law came home yesterday and very sweetly gave me a muffin that she had got for me, a gluten-free muffin. She went to a place after work with some friends and they had gluten-free muffins, and it was some lovely seasonal pumpkin flavor muffin. And she thought of me and brought me a muffin, except by the time she got home and gave it to me, it was already outside my eating window, which is like, I don't want to eat past 7. So I figured I would save it for today. So that's how I know I'm going to eat some sugar today. And again, it's okay. It's okay, like, to occasionally eat sugar. But I just feel like I end up having sugar every day. And I do feel like sugar is detrimental to my health. I'll do a whole other video on that, I'm sure. I've probably already mentioned stuff in previous videos, but I can feel a negative difference to having too much sugar than the periods when I'm able to avoid it. I feel much better. So it's been measurable, it's been noticeable in my life. And so that is my 5th and final goal, is to avoid sugar. We're reaching the end of the month, and with the new month, I need to decide what my goals are going to be to put in my planner to track for next month. And I generally pick 5 things to track because I have 5 different color stars in my collection. I have gold, I have red, I have green, blue, and purple. And so I am going to continue with the plan to track 5 things. Because also, too, if I track much more than that, I feel like it really all starts to just become noise, and then I can get overwhelmed and intimidated, and I'd rather just stick to the 5 things right now. So I think I'm going to continue to track my sleep, my steps, the no sugar goal, and the reading goal. And I'm on the fence about the planner. I feel like I still need practice making the planner habit a real focused habit, like something that it just becomes easy for me to do regularly. So I may still keep it my 5th goal, or I may use that 5th slot for something else. So I'm going to be mulling that around this, last week of the month, and I'll let you guys know when I check back in. But that is what's up with me. There will be some other details to come about that DEXA scan that I told you guys I was going to have. Well, I had that, as well as an exercise stress test. So I have the results from that. Then I'm going to be going over my results and asking some questions to the people that provided it. And I'll be making notes so I know what to share with you guys. I know that it was a mix of good news and bad news, so look for a video on that coming up soon. I also just signed up for pulmonary rehab, so anybody who might be watching these videos because you're here, because I've shared in some online groups and stuff that I have chronic obstructive asthma that really limits my breathing. I have vocal cord dysfunction as well, and I struggle a lot with shortness of breath, especially upon exertion. I am going to be checking out pulmonary rehab for the first time to see how that can help me. So I don't have the dates on that set. I know there's a waiting list. So as soon as I get that set up and I know more about that, I'll be sharing about that. I am also going to use the information from the DEXA scan and exercise, exertion, stress test. Like once I've got all of, those details down on paper, I'm going to be using that to put together an exercise and fitness plan. And so look for details on that soon too. It may or may not involve me joining a gym, especially through the winter. And while my daughter-in-law is here, because she loves going to the gym and working out, and she says she'll be my personal trainer. So I may take her up on that. Otherwise, I'm not sure if the Y always sounds good to me. They've got a lot of good stuff going on at the Y. I might join the Y, but I might do that in the new year. And I also like the idea of just creating me some programs that I can do at home for the days that I don't want to or can't get out to anything else. And as far as my fitness goals area, it's the basic. It's basically strength training, cardio, exercise, and stretching, and then a focused set of exercises for my breathing. Pranayama, I want to continue with my yoga for sure. Love my yoga for my nervous system. But I want to add in more pranayama to help with my breathing. And then I'm also having a lot of blurry vision. I don't know if it's related to my B12 deficiency or not, but I want to bring in some exercises for my eyes for like maybe tightening up the muscles associated with astigmatism. So that's kind of just a little add-on thing. But yeah, so I think that's a good update for now. If anybody is watching and has any questions or comments or suggestions, feel free to let me know. And otherwise, I hope to check in with you again soon. Have a good day.